A MoviePass. How unlimited movies for $10 destroyed a company. In the summer of 2017, something extraordinary happened in the movie theater industry. A company called MoviePass announced they would let subscribers watch unlimited movies in theaters for just $9.95 a month. To put that in perspective, the average movie ticket in America cost $8.97 at the time, meaning you could theoretically see 30 movies for less than the price of 2 regular tickets. Within 48 hours of the announcement, MoviePass gained 150,000 new subscribers. Their servers crashed from the overwhelming demand. By April 2018, they had 3 million subscribers, making them one of the fastest-growing subscription services in history. But there was a fundamental problem with this business model that would become painfully obvious very quickly. MoviePass was paying theaters full price for every ticket their subscribers used, meaning they lost money on every single customer who saw more than one movie per month. This wasn't a sustainable business strategy, it was financial suicide disguised as innovation. MoviePass wasn't actually a new company in 2017. The service had been founded in 2011 by Stacy and Hamet, two entrepreneurs who envisioned a Netflix-style subscription model for movie theaters. The original MoviePass charged between $15 to $45 per month depending on your location and allowed subscribers to see one movie per day. The pricing was based on careful calculations of average movie-going habits and regional ticket prices. For 6 years, MoviePass operated as a niche service with around 20,000 subscribers. The company struggled to gain traction, burning through multiple rounds of funding while trying to convince both consumers and theater chains that subscription moviegoing was the future. In 2016, the company was hemorrhaging money and running out of options. That's when Helios and Matheson Analytics, a data analytics firm led by CEO Ted Farnsworth, decided to acquire a controlling stake in MoviePass for just $27 million. Farnsworth had a radically different vision for the company, one that would prioritize explosive growth over profitability. The new MoviePass strategy was based on what Farnsworth called the Amazon model of growth at all costs. The plan was to dramatically slash prices to gain millions of subscribers, then use that massive user base to negotiate better deals with theaters and eventually monetize the data they collected about moviegoing habits. On August 15, 2017, MoviePass announced their new unlimited plan for $9.95 per month. The reaction was immediate and overwhelming. The company gained 400,000 subscribers in the first 4 months. Hollywood trade publications called it a game changer. Consumers couldn't believe their luck. Some subscribers were seeing 15 or 20 movies per month, essentially getting $150 worth of entertainment for $10. The major theater chains, however, were not happy. AMC Entertainment immediately issued a statement saying they were actively working now to determine whether it may be feasible to opt out and not accept MoviePass, though they ultimately continued to accept the service because they were being paid full price for every ticket. The mathematics of MoviePass were catastrophic from day one. Internal documents later revealed that the average MoviePass subscriber saw 1.5 movies per month, which meant the company was losing approximately $3.50 on every average user after accounting for credit card processing fees. But the power users were devastating to their finances. Subscribers who saw 3 movies per month cost MoviePass roughly $17 in ticket purchases, while only generating $9.95 in revenue. The company was essentially paying customers $7 to use their service. By early 2018, MoviePass was burning through $21.7 million per month in cash. The company's own internal projections showed they would need to reduce their average subscriber usage to 0.75 movies per month to achieve profitability, which was impossible given that their entire marketing message was encouraging unlimited usage. Helios and Matheson's stock price initially soared on the growth story, reaching a peak market cap of $2.45 billion, but sophisticated investors quickly realized the fundamental impossibility of the business model. As the cash burn accelerated, MoviePass began implementing increasingly desperate measures to control costs. In April 2018, they started limiting subscribers to just 4 movies per month, directly contradicting their unlimited marketing. They removed popular movies from the app during opening weekends, claiming these were technical glitches when they were actually intentional cost-saving measures. The company introduced surge pricing, similar to Uber, charging subscribers additional fees during peak times. They restricted subscribers from seeing the same movie twice, eliminated IMAX and 3D showings, and eventually limited users to just 3 movies per month. Most bizarrely, MoviePass began tracking subscriber locations through their smartphone app to ensure people were actually at the theater, leading to privacy concerns and user complaints. By summer 2018, subscribers regularly reported that the app would display no movie showtimes available at theaters that were clearly showing multiple films, a sign that MoviePass was selectively limiting access to control costs. The data monetization strategy that was supposed to justify the losses never materialized into meaningful revenue. MoviePass claimed they could sell valuable insights about moviegoing habits to studios and advertisers, but the data proved far less valuable than anticipated. The company launched MoviePass Ventures to co-finance films, betting that they could drive their subscribers to movies they had invested in. Their first major investment was $3.5 million in The Outsider, starring Jared Leto, which bombed at the box office and earned just $3.2 million worldwide. They also ventured into original content and marketing partnerships, but these ancillary revenue streams generated only a fraction of what was needed to offset the massive losses from ticket subsidies. Meanwhile, major theater chains grew increasingly hostile toward MoviePass. AMC launched their own competing subscription service, AMC Stubs A-List, priced at $19.95 per month for 3 movies per week. The key difference was that AMC owned the theaters, so they weren't losing money on every transaction like MoviePass was. By mid-2018, the financial situation had become dire. Helios and Matheson's stock price collapsed from over $30 per share to under $1 as investors fled. The company was forced to take out high-interest loans and issue massive amounts of new stock to raise cash, diluting existing shareholders. On July 26, 2018, MoviePass ran completely out of money, and their service went dark for several hours because they couldn't pay their credit card processing company. They borrowed $5 million the next day to restore service, but this was just the beginning of the end. The company began changing their terms of service almost weekly, confusing subscribers and generating thousands of complaints to customer service. They introduced a new plan, limiting subscribers to just 3 movies per month from a predetermined list of approved films. Many of the approved movies were limited releases playing in only a handful of theaters, making the service essentially unusable for most subscribers. The beginning of the end came in January 2019 when MoviePass announced they had only $15.5 million in cash remaining and were exploring strategic alternatives, which is corporate speak for trying to find a buyer or prepare for bankruptcy. Subscriber numbers had plummeted from a peak of 3.2 million to fewer than 225,000 as word spread about the service's unreliability. The company laid off most of its staff and moved to a smaller office. In June 2019, MoviePass suspended service entirely, claiming they were using the time to improve the MoviePass service under a new vision. The new vision turned out to be a limited beta test for just a few thousand subscribers in select cities. Original co-founder Stacy, who had been pushed out during the Helios and Matheson takeover, reacquired the company's assets in bankruptcy court for an undisclosed amount in 2021. The total amount of investor money destroyed by MoviePass exceeded $220 million, making it one of the most spectacular startup failures of the decade. The MoviePass story reveals several critical lessons about unsustainable business models and the dangers of prioritizing growth over unit economics. The company essentially created a massive arbitrage operation where they were the guaranteed loser in every transaction. Unlike other growth-at-all-costs companies like Uber or Amazon, which could eventually achieve economies of scale or raise prices, MoviePass had no path to profitability because they didn't control the core cost structure. Movie ticket prices were set by theater chains, not MoviePass, and the more successful the service became at driving usage, the more money they lost. The company also failed to secure meaningful partnerships with theater chains who viewed MoviePass as a threat to their own pricing power and concession sales. When AMC, Regal, and other major chains launched their own subscription services, they offered better terms because they captured both the subscription revenue and the ancillary spending on concessions, something MoviePass could never do. The MoviePass saga also illustrates how venture capital and public market dynamics can sustain obviously flawed business models far longer than they should exist. Helios and Matheson was able to raise hundreds of millions of dollars by telling a compelling story about disrupting the movie industry and monetizing consumer data, even though their core unit economics were transparently unsustainable. The company's stock became a favorite of day traders and retail investors who were attracted to the growth story without understanding the underlying mathematics. Ted Farnsworth and other executives continued to appear on CNBC and other financial media outlets promoting the vision of MoviePass as a data company that happened to sell movie tickets, when in reality, they were a movie ticket subsidy program that happened to collect some data. The Securities and Exchange Commission eventually investigated Helios and Matheson for potentially misleading investors about MoviePass's financial condition, though no major penalties were imposed. Today, the MoviePass name lives on under Stacy Spikes' leadership, but the new version is a much more conservative service with limited showtimes and higher prices. The brief, spectacular rise and fall of the unlimited MoviePass model serves as a perfect case study in how a product that seems too good to be true usually is, and how even millions of happy customers can't save a company from a fundamentally broken business model.